pleasant morning to everybody. It's a wonderful Wednesday morning.
Yes, already.
Yes, in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, we want to say welcome to another episode of Island Tea. I am your host, Azad Gums, and our co-host this morning,
Chef Rich.
Yes, Chef Rich, So we want to say a pleasant morning, and we hope that those persons listening to the sound of our voice, that they are, having a wonderful morning so far. I must say that I have my tea already heated. I see that you have your cup as well.
My tea is very simple today. It's just a tea bag.
Mhm.
It's rose hip and hibiscus, and that's it.
Rose hip and hibiscus.
Yes.
So for those persons up there who want to know the the benefits of rose hip and hibiscus.
Rose hip is very anti-inflammatory. It's really good for your skin. It's even good for your hormones and all of that. And the hibiscus is actually what we call sorrel. They call it hibiscus in other places. And sorrel is very, very red, so it has a lot of those bioflavonoids, a lot of vitamin C, and it's just pretty. I like the pretty color mornings.
Yes,
this
wonderful.
one not so strong, though, 'cause this is a tea bag. When I mix them on my own, I have the dried leaves. It's much better.
Wonderful. So we're going to have an interview at around 8:30 with Ransomware, and the guest would be Tony Nate, and we're going to go into that interview. He is the CEO of Get Safe Online, which is the leading source of unbiased, authoritative, and easy to understand information on protection against fraud, identity theft, viruses, and many other problems encountered online. So we're going to have that interview via Zoom at 8:30. At 9 o'clock, we're going to have our farm report. And at 9:30, I have invited some former students of the Virtuals High School. So we have Kevron, and we also have Takaila. And you persons who are asking, they are students who graduated the Virtuals High School graduating class of 2023. And Kevron, I give an award every year to the student who does well at the examination and exhibit leadership skills, and he was the individual who was awarded. And we know Takaila, while she was in primary school, I do the same thing for the Tyrrell Williams Primary School and the Virtuals High School, and while she was in Tyrrell Williams, she got that award as well. And she is also a Caribbean talented teen, the reigning Caribbean talented teen, and she is a former national talented teen coming out of the Virtuals High School. So I said, I'll bring them on so we could learn more about them and what they have done. Yes.
Nice.
So, when we look at some of the things that are happening in the news, Chef.
Big one today.
Well, I'll let you lead the way in that one.
Sure? This might be. Okay. We all know about what's going on between Palestine and Israel. So now the South African ambassador to the Netherlands, let me say this name, Mr. Vusimuzi Madonsela, says that the discriminatory policies and practices of the Israeli regime are an even more extreme form of apartheid than what existed during apartheid in South Africa. So this is Mr. Vusimuzi Madonsela, and he is the ambassador for South Africa to the Netherlands. And there's a whole interview or speech that he did on it, and this is in reference to the Palestine-Israeli conflict that is going on right now. And he likens it, Israel's treatment of Palestine, he likens it to being worse than the apartheid they experienced in South Africa. That's major for him to say that, because the world knew about the apartheid that was going on in South Africa, and that was huge. So for him to say that what Israel is doing to the Palestinians is even worse, that's major.
It really is, and there's so many different viewpoints, and just reading an article I think just that was published a few days ago. It indicated Ziggy Marley support for Israel, and a lot of persons since that have been messaging me, sent me the article, something to talk about on Island T. But I have seen the article, I've read it, but I have not, brought it yet. But since you have mentioned that, I said that maybe something that we could consider. Persons who have read the article may want to weigh in on giving their opinions as well.
And even the UN is calling for like negotiations and peaceful negotiations. Just this morning, I read about Israel bombing even more places in Palestine. I'm like, wow. It's so people are really. And it's strange for me because growing up, Israel was like heaven on earth as far as Christians were concerned. It was like they can do no wrong.
That's because we didn't know who we were.
Exactly.
Right? Now we're waking up.
In the world.
Now it's waking. Now we're waking up, and the world is waking up. But more importantly, now we're waking up. It's.
I remember like people like, Hagee, the preacher, to be on and all of them, and even your parents, you hear them saying the world can't end until Israel something and everything seems to be based on Israel, which is strange because they're Jews and we're Christians, and then you tell Christians something about Jews, Islam, and a conflict, so it's kind of confusing there. But for a long time, even criticizing the Israeli occupation of that area has been taboo and something that people would not venture to do. You see what happened to Kanye when he said that he was deceived and robbed by Jews, and it's like you couldn't say anything for a long time, but no, it's like everything in the world is up for discussion. Nothing is off the table now.
And I remember Kyrie Irving and even Kanye said it recently, how, and all the people listening who are wondering what we were talking about, go and do your research. How can I be anti-Semitic if I'm a Hebrew?
Exactly, that too. But that gets an even harsher penalty at times than even criticizing the occupation of Palestine. And people, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's why I was going to say, when it comes to religion, people have their beliefs, people support the same quote and scriptures that you read could be interpreted by someone else totally different. And that's one area that I tend not to have public discourse.
Azad is thinking about his future donors, you see. His future.
I'm not.
Well,
I'm not
what
sure.
some people...
There's some conversations with that. Because
but a lot of people
you
talk
gotta stand
it
up
to
for the truth,
religion.
Azad.
But when you study the history,
yes,
you get a different picture.
Exactly.
Like for a lot of us, we don't know that Israel became a nation in 1948 because we grew up Christian, so we think Israel was always there. But it became a nation recognized by the U.S. and these bigger countries
And
in 1948.
it became a nation because a bunch of Caucasian Jews moved there and decided that. Do you know Uganda was the first place they were planning to take over? Uganda
Kenya
was the
too, I
country.
think.
Yeah, that was the place they were considering making their nation.
But
This is people have to understand that this whole Zionism thing is just another species of white supremacy. That's all it is.
But you see, persons would, without taking information, without reading on their own what is happening in Israel, they would, as you say, a picture has been painted from since birth, especially within our region, and maybe even just a St. Nevis, where it seems as the home, the birthplace of so many goodness and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard for us to separate religion from real life because they're telling you a lot of the places in the Bible and stuff, they're yet to be confirmed and stuff. But people assume and they teach it to us that was Israel all along when it was established in 1948 and people were already there living. And they basically, after the Holocaust, which was horrible with Hitler and stuff, the United States and a few other nations decided, okay, they needed to find a place for the Jews those Jews, because again, these are not the only Jews. I think that's the other misconception. In Ethiopia, some of the longest lineage and oldest lineage I've learned, and I'm only stating
let's make no mistake, the original
Ethiopia.
Jews were black, were Africans.
Yeah, so that's another discussion that nobody wants to have, but people are being forced to have it now. So they decided to find a country for them because they were so persecuted in Germany, which was horrible, as I said, right? So, but in doing that, and this is where the human conscience sometimes leaves the room. When you are going through a hardship, sometimes you can only see your hardship, and you feel that because they feel that they were the Jews and other people paint that picture, they felt that their salvation or their comfort, their preservation took precedence over the Palestinians. So at first, it was said that they went and they shared the area with the Palestinians, but then over the years, they began to claim more and more. And this is what the Palestinian argument
Caucasians
is.
can't share. They won't
Well,
share.
I won't say
they don't share.
I can't say Caucasians without
They have a zero.
with a broad,
listen,
with a
I think
broad brush.
I am not a psychologist,
Yeah.
but I had to make up. I had to make up. An affliction to describe them. Zero sum complex. Let me give you two examples. That's one example.
Well,
Example number two.
these particular groups.
Yeah,
The power-seeking groups. Because there are some Caucasians who are very peaceful.
Well, I'm not.
We're
Listen,
talking about
I'm
the
not.
power
I'm not
groups.
talking about the minority. I'm talking about the majority. I'm not
Well, I
going to
wouldn't
waste
even say
time.
it's the
I'm
majority.
not. No.
Majority.
I'm not going to waste time with the Nautalism.
No.
That's
No.
we get sidetracked when we talk about Nautalism.
No, Jamster, because you are accusing that you're saying that all persons of
That is
a
not. That
particular
is not.
ethnic group.
That
He's a
is not the-
majority, not
That
the
is not the
minority.
nucleus. That is not.
Majority is still.
But you see, you see, you're
It's a
getting sidetracked.
technicality.
Do you see how you're getting sidetracked?
No,
Well,
but-
I will say
but
certain.
You're getting sidetracked.
certain-
Let's
certain
let's get back to the nucleus
institutions
of the argument.
power.
it's like
Institutions of power.
when I say
That
this
is a
right, when I
tactic.
say this right, it's like saying, okay, there are some black persons who are thugs. And then you have the notion to say that, all black persons
Agreed.
are thugs.
I
So if we
agree
don't
fully.
like
Yes,
it on
but
ourselves,
I agree fully.
you are
Why
getting
do we-
you're getting sidetracked though.
why do we put it on someone else?
I agree fully.
And so we have to look at it and really look at the sections.
It should be understood that nothing is in totality. Why are we wasting time
Then you
talking?
Yeah, but
Then
when
you
they
should-
Why
say
are we
that
wasting
about-
time
when they say
wallowing
that
in
about-
Nautalism?
Jamster, when you speak in totality, persons are hearing you talk
Yes.
in totality and not thinking.
And not everyone
that
has the
He is
discernment.
saying, because that is your words. You must be
Don't
careful
and the
with your
people
words.
who listening, don't they live in the world?
Well, what I would say, Jamsa, is that
We have
that's what I like
somebody.
to
We have
say.
somebody on the phone. Caller, go ahead.
Yes.
Caller, go ahead. Hello. Okay. Maybe.
That's that. What I would say that there are certain institutions of power because they have persecuted many a Caucasian as well. So again,
Yeah, but I'm not
it's
in.
these-
But
it's
I,
these
no.
institutions of
But
power
this is
that I
this
will
is the
talk
thing.
about.
I'm not talking about that. Let's not get sidetracked.
You can't say that.
Let's
all
not get sidetracked
you
with the
can't say-
outlier
you
scenarios,
can't-
Okay,
please.
But let's take it as it is. It's English. You can't say that all sharp people are evil, and then when the conversation comes, you say, "Well, I didn't mean all sharp people." You
But it should be understood that you don't mean all because nothing is
then-
absolute.
Then you should not speak in absolute.
No, you can't tell me that. You can't tell me how to speak, Azad.
But I'm telling you, if you're speaking in absolute, then it would be
You need to
interpreted.
back up. You
it would
can't
be
tell me how to speak.
interpreted as absolute.
Okay, ding, 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 ding. We're getting spicy this morning. But what I would say is,
You keep your lawyer speak to yourself.
I think all of us agree
You all don't
that
stand for anything unless there's a big check involved.
And
So
these
don't-
statements that you're making go unchecked and
ding, ding,
unbalanced.
ding, ding, guys.
I think you should be very careful with your words. You're on air.
Ding, 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 guys. We good? We good?
Oh,
No,
we
I'm
good.
good.
We good.
I'm
but-
good.
but-
So what I think we're saying is, okay, it's not absolute. I
but-
think we can
but
say that there's a
we
certain
as a
set
people,
of people.
we have to stop being afraid to speak about the truth.
I'm definitely not
No?
afraid, but at the same time, I do recognize the persecution that even some Caucasian, like I don't tell people, the white power is not all white. Ain't no
We
white
have a
person
call?
got the white
We have a
power.
call.
Okay.
Caller, go ahead.
Yes, good
Hey.
morning.
Uh-huh.
Just we need to calm it down a bit. Thank you. Is it Shami?
Yes.
Yeah, right. But what I would say is that I agree you should not try to paint everybody with the same brush. That makes no sense. It's an emotional thing that we humans tend to do, but it's the source of a lot of conflict. You can't look back hundreds of years in history and try to solve today's problems, in the sense that saying that, well, they were there from since biblical times and therefore they have a right to be there. You can't tell me that there are Palestinians with deeds and titles to their land, and because there's a biblical version that essentially says that the Jews were there first, that you just totally remove the Palestinians have no rights. How is that even possible? Of course they will fight you for their land, right? And of course they would resist. And yes, Israel uses the idea that every country has a right to defend itself. And they make you want to feel that this thing started on October 7th, when in fact they have been occupying Palestinian land for decades. And the occupied people have a right to resistance. It's as simple as that. Right? And so you have to look, at some point you have to stop and say, okay, the situation is this. If we go back, we'll never solve the problem. Let's try to solve it as it is now. So everybody breathe, count to 10, and let the situation, try to work out the situation, the problem as of now. Otherwise, 50 years from now, we'll be doing the same thing. Because as much as Israel is trying to destroy Gaza, you can bet your life, if there's no total solution to this, 50 years from now, the same thing is going to happen again, and probably even worse. Right? So you have to stop. You can't, if you're going to go back to ancient history, well, all the Europeans, everybody living in the U.S. states, in the United States and Canada, should just give back the land to the Indians who were there first. It just doesn't work like that. But what is clear is that there's a power play involved here. That is why, even though a lot of their citizens protest and resist, the authorities in the West, in North America, in Europe, adamant that Israel should be given some kind of reign to prevent, to set an example, so to speak, for other people who might want to resist any kind of, whether it's occupation or the West dominance or anything like that. Okay, so that's the only reason I could see why they're so supportive of Israel. Because look at the mass demonstrations in their countries. You would think that would count for something, but it doesn't. Because the leaders are looking at the so-called bigger picture and say we have to make an example of these people. We cannot allow the weaker people to succeed, so to speak. We can't allow the type of action that Hamas have been fighting the occupation, the methods and so on. We cannot justify these methods. And that is what I think is at play here. It's all about hegemony and world dominance and those kinds of things.
How do you feel, I feel so bad, I can't remember exactly, I think it's CARICOM wrote basically that they agree with the UN in saying that there needs to be some sort of amicable resolution to the conflict between Israel and Palestine, saying, that's what people are calling for, that there needs to be some new peace treaty or something that is amicable, that is good for both sides.
Well,
and Israel basically wrote...
amicable.
Israel
But
basically
I don't
wrote
be
back.
amicable, but at least, but you see, that's the whole point. Since the 1967 war, there have been a resolution at the UN supported by practically. Actually, it was supported, I think, even by the US then, that there should have been a return to the pre-1967 borders
Uh-huh.
and recognition of Israel and a Palestinian state and those
Yes.
things.
But
And,
do you
but that's why I say it would never be amicable.
Do
and
you
some
realize-
sort of imposed settlement would have to be done, just like how they decided that, well, the Jews will, they're going to
But
give
Carla,
this
do
land,
you-
this strip of land to the Jews.
Okay, Mac.
do you agree that
yeah.
they actually the people for Israel wrote back and told us basically that if we do not come out and show our favor to Israel and condemn Hamas, that we are they didn't say anti-Semitic, that we are not in support of them and all that kind of stuff, and we're in support of the sufferation of the Israeli people. That's why he wrote back. I'll look for it and read it, but I thought he was very forward and out of place.
Who?
It's like when CARICOM put out the
Oh,
statement,
yeah.
and they wrote back basically telling us, you better hush and side with us, guys. If you ain't with us, you're against us. Basically, that's what they said. And I felt, oh, you get this feeling of what we say is what goes, and we don't care how many of you talk about peace and all this stuff. So it really is showing, does the UN even have any real power?
The UN is a waste of time.
Exactly.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, take for example, there have been calls to reform the Security Council, right? So that one of the approaches and arguments is all of the continent, well, the inhabited continent should be represented. Africa should have a seat on the Security Council, and because of how it's set up, it has this kind of zero-sum setup where you really can't change anything. For example, they can't expel Russia from the Security Council, in spite of the fact that Russia is trying to overrun and occupy Ukraine. So there's something clearly wrong with the way that organization is set up. Then they came up with the next best thing, where they have a expanded and rotating sort of Security Council where you have people. I think St. Vincent was the first country from the Caribbean that got voted in. And I forget who it is. It might be Guyana now, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But so there are a lot of criticisms that can be leveled at the United Nations as far as.
But I think we're in a different age, and the average citizen is recognizing that they have say and they have power.
It's
and I
squeezing.
think it's a shift.
Okay.
We have the
Okay. We're gonna go to the break at 8:29. But I was hoping we could have taken
lost
that
the
call
call, huh?
before. Yeah, we lost that call. But yeah, I mean, the point I was making was when I was saying the point I was making was the empiricals are there. When I said that Caucasians don't share, Caucasians have gone everywhere on the planet and taken over people's land and stolen people's resources.
Yeah.
What about that is, in fact, I could argue that one is not. That one is pretty much near absolute. Everywhere they go, they cannot live in harmony with the people that they met there. They cannot live in harmony with nature. They always have to dominate. This is fact. So, Azad is going to sit there and go, not
Well,
all. That's why I got upset about the not allism.
I know, because
Hello?
Because
We have a call.
Oh, okay.
Wait, let's take this call. Caller, go right ahead.
Making
Quick.
statements that like you will have a talk to take
Hello?
a chance to talk.
Yes.
Yes.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, hearing you. Quick. Make it quick.
Yeah, good morning. Jamster, you're talking about living in harmony. And again, guys, let us look at their footprints on this planet. Everywhere they go, they create chaos in order to rule. It's their agenda. Now, McMahon earlier mentioned, go back to ancient days. Who are the Jews?
Okay, you have to wrap it up because we really have a thing at 8:30.
Okay, quickly, Jamster. Just permit me
Quick.
to say this, right?
Quick.
No, they give us duality. They give us duality in everything. And yes, we accept duality.
Okay, we're gonna have to continue this because we have something at 8:30.
Yeah, when we finish,
we'll come
back to this discussion.
Found the sound 98.9.
Feeling lucky? Your winning streak starts now with the Pick 3 and Pick 4 Mega Ball Bonanza. That's right. Pick your lucky numbers in Pick 3 or Pick 4, then grab all 5 boards and add the Mega Ball to at least one. Bam! You've instantly got yourself a free $1 ticket. That's 5 chances to win big. Plus a guaranteed $1 win just for playing the Mega Ball way. So grab your Pick 3 and Pick 4 play slips today at Caribbean Lottery agents island-wide. Must be 21 and over to play.
This February, embark on a love affair with the road. TDC Financial Services presents Love Affair Car Loan Special. Fall in love with your dream car with loan terms up to 8 years, as low as 4.99% interest rate. And here's the sweet part. Enjoy the first 3 months with absolutely no repayments. Turn your dream car into reality with TDC Financial Services Love Affair Car Loan Special. Visit our branch on Central Street in St. Kitts or Main Street, Charlestown, Nevis, or call us at TDC Financial Services today. Live the love affair with your new wheels with TDC Financial Services.
Okay, it's 8:31 and we're getting ready for our brand new segment. It's about ransomware and how do you deal with ransomware. We've got Tony Neat on the line. He is the CEO of GetSafe Online, the leading source of unbiased, authoritative, and easy to understand information on protection against fraud, identity theft, viruses, and many other problems encountered online. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning. Great to be with Island T. I hope the weather is better than it is here in the UK.
Okay.
So now, take your seat. I gotta finish. Ho ho!
Hello,
Okay, Tony. We're not hearing you.
Grab somebody by the wrist. I feel this mother Savoy. Shake them good. Say God is gonna make it better because I said it, and I'm not scared.
Hello?
Hello.
Y'all sit down over there, please. But Ella Woods said,
Okay, sir, are you playing some music on your end? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, yes. Are you playing some music on your end? I'm hearing some music over here. And
Well, no, not here. I'm afraid I'm not a radio station as good as Island T, but I can hear you clearly talking to you from a rather drab and wet UK.
okay. Okay, so Mr. Neat, go right ahead. We're trying to figure out, we were hearing you, it's just that we were hearing some additional music. So, but you can continue your presentation and I will try and figure out what's going on. It's very strange.
Great to be with you. As you know, GetSafe Online has been in St. Kitts for 2-3 years now, but we've got a few new campaigns. GetSafe Online is a non-for-profit organization. We're in 26 countries around the world, but one of the most important to us is the Caribbean, because we get so much interest and people wanting to be good, to be protected, and to be successful when they're on the internet without being attacked by criminals.
what is this about?
Yes.
Well, when I look
And
at
let me
those
ask you, what has inspired you to actually be to start that business and to be here in St. Kitts and Nevis?
Well, I'm a former police officer. I did 30 years dealing with serious unorganized online crime. GetSafe Online was set up as a non-for-profit organization about 17, 18 years ago, and we've been asked by the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office in the UK to provide some additional information to the Caribbean. Now, you've got some really good experts in the Caribbean, and we're working very closely with our partner in St. Kitts, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis. So it's really enhancing what we've got.
Spirit that's trying to suck the breath out of me. Elbow 5 people say the snake gotta die right now. Cause the more you try to breathe, the more he try to constrict you. But I come to tell somebody your breath is going to cause the head of the
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
to be Cut off.
Sorry, I can hear another radio
say
station.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah, we're wondering. We're
There's
actually
another
wondering where that
radio
is coming
station
from.
coming through.
Well, I'm sitting in my office and there's nothing else around, I'm afraid. So you got someone interfering. You got someone hacking into your system.
Oh, that's good. We're talking to the person.
Okay, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Well, what we're doing at the moment, we've started again on another campaign. In the end of last year, we were talking about students. In September, the campaign Vital initiative that aims to educate and
Let's do an identity check. Somebody, when I count to three, shout Jesus 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Who saved you? Who died? Who got up? Who's coming back? Elbow somebody, say his name is Jesus.
Okay, sir. We are at a loss as to why this is happening. We really are at a loss as to why this is happening. We're really at a loss, and I don't know if you wanna. I don't know if you want to continue on the phone, maybe.
Well, I can hear this second person shouting, and it's another radio. Maybe
Yes.
we can arrange to do this on another date when you've seems to have clear whatever else is on the line. But I'm looking forward to speaking to you and speaking to the listeners of Island Tea. So maybe we can adjourn this one and set it up again.
Okay, Tony. Apologies. We have no idea what's going
Not a
on.
problem.
Okay.
These things happen in communications.
Okay.
I'll look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Okay, Tony. Great. Okay, guys. So, like I was saying, we have no idea.
But this has happened before.
Yeah.
I think it happened when we had an episode in December. So
And it was
Church
it
again?
was Zoom again, too, right? I think.
no, it
Was
wasn't
a
Zoom.
thing?
It wasn't Zoom.
Was
really-
it when we were doing that thing with the court?
No, it wasn't.
that? Okay.
Was it church?
It wasn't. It wasn't.
Oh,
it
I was wondering, I'm like,
It was when Calypso was being played in the background.
oh,
So it's something behind there.
or perhaps another station cut into car. You know what happens to me strange?
The
when
last-
I pass certain areas and people on their phone, it comes to my radio in the car. I'm
I-
hearing
I-
the full conversation.
I'm pretty sure it has to do with behind there. So let's continue.
Yes.
So, as we look at it, and apologies to Mr. Neat, and
Yes.
while the technical team gets it sorted, we will delay that interview. So we have here, that the president of Haiti, Mr. Moise, he was assassinated. Yeah. But what is coming to light and is the persons who have been charged so far indicted in his assassination.
And who are these people? Have they finally cleared it up? Because,
Well, according to Loop News, it is saying, his widow is one of them.
So it was a conspiracy.
That is so. Based on this here, is saying that a judge in Haiti responsible for investigating the July 2021 assassination of President Moise has indicted his wife, Martine Moise, ex-Prime Minister Claude Joseph, and former chief of Haiti's National Police, Leon Charles, among others, according to a report obtained Monday. So these persons have been charged, and it says the indictments are expected to further destabilize Haiti as it struggles with a surge in gang violence and recovers from a spate of violent protests demanding the resignation of the current Prime Minister, Ariel Henry.
So how they got a new prime minister? They had elections?
Well, the president and the Prime Minister.
Oh, the different.
Yes.
So if since the president was assassinated, though, is there any word of new elections or anything for Haiti?
Well,
I think that was kind of put off because all the upheaval they had after. Upheaval before that, and that continued after he got killed.
Well, I think what is significant is the fact that dozens of suspects were indicted in a 122-page report issued by Walter Voltaire, who is the fifth judge to lead the investigation after previous one stepped down for various reasons, including fear of being killed. So Charles, who was police chief when Moise was killed and now serves as Haiti's permanent representative to the Organization of American States, faces the most serious charges: murder, attempted murder, possession, and illegal carrying of weapon, conspiracy against the internal security of the state, and criminal association. So meanwhile, Joseph and Martine Moise, who was injured in the attack, are accused of being complacent or, assisting in it.
No, if you thought the argument about Israel and Palestine was hot, this one, I would say for some people, is just as hot.
Yeah, the judge stated in his report that Martine Moise suggested she took refuge under the marital bed to protect herself from the attackers, but he noted that authorities at the scene found not even a giant rat whose size measures between 35 to 45 centimeters could fit under the bed. The judge said that the former First Lady's statements were so tainted with contradictions that they leave something to be desired and discredit her. Others who face charges, including the murder of Christian Emmanuel Sanon, a Haitian American pastor who visualized himself as Haiti's next president and said he thought Moise was going to be arrested. Joseph Vincent, a Haitian American and former informant for the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration. And the list goes on. It's so many persons who have been a part. But what is interesting is his wife has been charged.
Well, usually when these things happen, I guess somebody close to the person is usually involved to get that information and all that stuff. But Haiti has been in so much unrest since
their fight for independence.
You know, and what freaks me out too is that you just read that about Haiti, and if I'm lying, tell me I'm lying, callers. The average Haitian, the average Caribbean national cares more about what is going on in Israel and Palestine, between Ukraine and Russia, than what is going on in Haiti. The disdain and the way that we speak about Haiti and Haitians in the Caribbean is just unbelievable, you know. And yet we teach our kids and we talk about the Haitian Revolution with such pride, but then we totally detach Haitians from that history, you know. And I don't think it's something that we are consciously doing, because there's a lot of behavior that people practice when they've been programmed to and they're not aware of. But I keep remembering that song by David Rudder, Haiti, I'm Sorry. One day we'll turn our eyes and look inside you. Because I feel like we as a Caribbean people do abandon Haiti a lot.
Yeah.
So the callers could, you know, if you agree with me or you don't.
Another thing, on another note, it says that American Airlines is raising bag fees. So American Airlines is raising the cost of check-in bags, and it is making other changes to push customers to buy tickets directly from the airline if they want to earn frequent flyer points. So the airline said Tuesday that checking a bag on a domestic flight will raise from $30 now to 35 online, and 40 if purchased at the airport. So they really would be forcing you to check in your bags online when you do the online, because online will be 35, and if you go to the airport and have them do it, then that would be 40. And it says the fee for the second bag will rise from 40 to 45, both online and at the airport. Yeah,
Wow.
that is $5 more on each bag. Okay. So I had a thought just there when we talk about the bags.
Yeah, I want to talk. Let's take a call. Caller, go right ahead.
Yes. Go ahead, caller.
Caller, go right ahead. It's 8:45.
Yes. What I was going to talk about really was the to finish off the thing with the Israel-Palestine thing. But don't you find that what happened when you had that guest on really weird? If you're a conspiracy theorist, you'd think that there are certain topics that just should not be discussed.
You're
If
asking
you're a
that?
conspiracy,
Actually, I kind of see.
Jam study the tech guru is baffled.
Yes, I kind of see where you're coming from. Ransomware, and then all of a sudden that happens. Yeah.
All of a sudden, right? And so I guess you have to. I don't know what involved in preventing that from happening, but it was really investigating. Just don't pass it off.
Yes. No,
right?
yeah, we're here looking into it. I'm here looking into it with someone.
Yeah.
Very
what I was going to say though
he has a
is
point.
Something that Chef Rich just mentioned. Our attitude to these things, okay? Because I think how we react to it is actually fomenting the conflict. For instance, everybody was so elated and euphoric about Obama's victory. Yet he did some things that were clearly not in the interest of our race. It might have been in the interest of the U.S., and one may argue, well, that is what a president is there for. Okay? I'm talking about things, for instance, like going after Gaddafi in Libya. And it's under his administration, this thing about essentially the U.S. can target people, just claim they're terrorists and target people in other countries. And Israel is now doing that as well. This morning you heard about the strike in Syria, okay? Where you can just go in and target an apartment block going after specific people. Could you imagine that? So somebody here who they're after might be staying at the Marriott, for instance, and say, yes, we got him, and target him.
And whoever in the crossfire, that's your
world
business.
should not ever feel that is an appropriate way to go after people you don't like. Okay, and it's outside the realm of law. So when things like that happen, and similarly, a lot of us buy into this thing that the Jews are God's chosen people.
Right. To the Christians.
A lot of Christians support Israel because of their religious beliefs, and that in itself is a cause for conflict, right? And so a lot of reaction to these things is our own doing. Hello?
No, I'm saying I don't know if you've noticed that in the last you could say the last 2 years or so, you don't get the unanimous pro-Israel like support that you used to see.
Right.
And that speaks
and
to
because I think a lot of ordinary people just realize that the situation is untenable and things are not as black as white.
But the most important
social
thing,
media too.
but the most important thing is knowledge of self is coming into being.
Thanks to social media too.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Even in the United Kingdom, I think they're supposed to have a vote now among the parties in Parliament about a ceasefire in Gaza, and you're seeing once ago that would have been unheard of, but now you're seeing the divisions creeping up because a lot of it depends on information that you get, the media. That is why I say most politicians and leaders target the media to put out the narrative because they know that what people know, that people act on what they know. Okay? People can't act on what they don't know. So if they've fed a narrative and that's all they get, they'll act on that. Mm-hmm. But that is changing so much now, I think, and we can probably say it's because of social media, where everybody is a journalist, everybody has a phone, everybody can
exercise the right
read
to
somebody
think.
else. And that, so there's no such thing as mainstream media anymore. You know, and that I think is a good thing. I mean, related to this, of course, is the Assange. I don't know if you saw the Assange trial, where this guy who dumped all the CIA information and so on is being...
The WikiLeaks, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, I think he was involved in that. But he's being the U.S. is trying to extradite him again, I think, to make an example of him. I don't know if he was a U.S. citizen. So I don't know, again, if they can just go and extract somebody from another place.
What they'll do is bully the country where he is to make sure that they can get what they want.
That's probably what would happen. You know, and they don't mind bullying even Britain, eh? You know?
Okay.
That's the thing.
Thank you, Mr. McMahon.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, thank you for your contribution. Okay. So, very interesting points being with there. I don't think we're being hacked in that particular moment. I think that's probably a technical
You
issues.
know, I will say this, like there's such a thing called synchronicity, and oftentimes things happen because if you think of us as generators, right? Whatever we are focusing on, we tend to attract that. And when two or more of us focus on a particular thing, and there's certain emotions and energies involved, certain things happen. Because it's like a radio station. It's like we just tuned in to something because our energy is attracted. And that's a simplistic way of putting it. But you will find these things happening in life a lot. You know?
Okay. Well, I still think it was a technical issue, but let's go on.
Yeah,
So, American Airlines, the bags, and I thought to myself, we pay for these bags, and oftentimes when we travel, when we come off the plane and we're collecting our bags, and I'm not the only one, other people as well, the bags are damaged. So at one time I made a joke to myself, am I paying for them to damage my bag or for them to transport it safely,
So you have one of those, you have like a soft case or had one? Rigid?
I don't even know. It just, regardless of the type, I just find that most time it comes back damaged,
Yeah, that
or
ain't
dent
right.
or ripped. And numerous persons have made that. So I'm not going at any particular airlines, but airlines are not, I'm talking generally.
Yeah. Hey, let's take this call. 853. Call or go right ahead.
Hi, good morning, Azad. Good morning, Chef.
Hey, good morning. Yes.
Yeah, I find it strange also with that interception there with the link up with the UK. All I had to say, wow, the Christians are fighting back.
Oh, you mean like it was church? Yeah. That's actually what I thought.
Okay, that's a good link to it. That's a good link to it.
Yeah,
that's
it's
a good link.
Just no ordinary interception. It was, you need to hear the gospel.
I like that one. I like that one.
Side note.
Yes, also, I like that one.
About supporting Israel and, all things, and then what about the Christians? Remember, it is coined the Judeo-Christian Bible or the Judeo-Christian faith from Judaism into Christianity, because Jesus was a Jew, right? And so I find that so. But, Chef, you said something, and you're so correct. The survey will come in that, Haiti is to the bottom of the list. It's on the back burner. Knowing that Haiti has even paved the way and has even inspired South American countries who were vying for independence, and they have gotten their independence, and they have shown more appreciation to it, to Haiti's struggle, than we, who is even closer to Haiti, and has paved the way. Even in the Haitian constitution, the first constitution, it has said that any person of under colonialism and the like that reached the shores of Haiti would be a free person. And nationals of like Jamaica has taken, and other nationals of the other colonies has taken it up, and some has reached the shores of Haiti and gained their freedom. So yes, it's very interesting. I wanted to just say one last thing though. Yesterday I made a comment about President Ruto of Kenya. Unaware of his election or selection to champion in the cause of reforming the African Union. There are certain things in the African Union that is not right and needs to be reformed. So he has been selected to do so.
Okay.
For instance, he spoke about 30% of some revenues that is not in the African space. It is in the banks in the US and the UK and France. And so him wanting to champion the cause, he's going to bring home that revenue so that they can buffer certain areas where some African countries, in terms of their fees, they are falling short because of all those fees are on the outside as opposed to on the inside assisting. So that to me was a positive.
I don't know if you're thank you. I don't know if he's referring to there is a lady, she was an ambassador to the UN, but she has since been removed, and she spoke about the continuation of colonialization or the continuation. I forget the title. I look for these things though, but she basically spoke about those who are under French rule, and a lot of these African countries, when they decided to become independent. My mic gone? Energy. That just means that we're onto something good. So when they decided to become independent, they had to sign the continuation of colonization agreement, which is basically where I think we're shifting some energies. So when you shift things, it goes out of place before it settles how it's supposed to. But basically, some of these African nations have to give, I think it was 85% of their revenue yearly to France and run on the remainder of that. So when you see a lot of African countries who are so mineral rich and so wealthy but seem so poor, it's because of stuff like this. And if they want to get any monies back, say for development or whatever, they have to apply to the French government, and they're often giving it back in forms of loans. They own money, So there are certain things and I'm going to come to Jamster's defense a little bit here. When we say we can't paint everybody by the same brush, it's true. But I'll say that I understand where both are coming from, because that's why I specify and say the common man and the elites, because there are a lot of structures in place, there are a lot of institutions in place to buffer and to ensure that white supremacy continues, although it's cracking and it's coming down. So you have a lot of countries like France. I think one of the African presidents spoke about it, that these countries, Europe, America and stuff, they live fat off of the backs of a lot of brown countries. And you have persons in India, in Africa, all over the world who speak about it. And the fact that these people and their predecessors, I must say, went around the world and conquered it.
Yep. Thank you. And by the way, I got some WhatsApps, and all of them were supporting what I said.
Okay.
Maybe I'll read them if I have time.
I had some messages too that supported that you can't paint everyone by the same brush. That is the point that I was making.
Perhaps you can just say their predecessors.
Yes, but as someone said, you derailed my point. You are right, but that was not the point of the discussion.
Okay.
And you can't let not allism derail the nucleus of a good discussion. when it should be given. It should be a given that not all of any scenario that it's not going to be all. So you shouldn't
Mean
get
what you
sidetracked by
say
that.
and say what you mean. That's all I'm going to say. Mean what you say and say what you mean.
Lawyers.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
Life is unpredictable. Don't miss the opportunity to provide your loved ones with the financial protection and peace of mind coverage they deserve with the Family Indemnity Plan from Kuna Caribbean Insurance. The Family Indemnity Plan covers final expenses such as funeral costs and outstanding debt in the event you or your loved one passes away for up to $30,000. No medical examination is required. Contact your credit union or one of their approved Family Indemnity Plan providers to enroll today. To learn more, call 466-9453 or 762-2973. Visit their website at kunacaribbean.com. Kuna Caribbean Insurance, for all people.
Here are your Horseless Value Mart IGA specials, running February 8th through the 21st. Now, our Value Club Blue Tag specials. Essential Everyday Vegetable Oil, $18.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Popcorn, $6.99. Multi-meal cereals, $12.99. Chobani Greek yogurt, $5.69. Essential Everyday Hash Brown Patties and Fries, $13.99. Kellogg's Special K cereals, $18.99. And now our very low weekly value deals. Essential Everyday 100% apple juice, $6.99. Essential Everyday Oats, $9.99. Wishbone salad dressing, $11.99. Arm & Hammer liquid detergent, $14.99. Colgate toothpaste, $7.99. VO5 shampoo and conditioner, $5.49. Shop smart, shop Value Mart. Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
2 minutes after 9 o'clock, and it's time for 30 minutes of On the Farm Report. Here we go. We've got Esmond and Troy in studio. Take it away, guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Good morning to all the listeners out there. Another Wednesday morning, another Farm Report.
Welcome to both of you. So,
thank you.
What has been happening in the field of, or in the area of agriculture for St. Kitts and Nevis? What is on your mind this morning?
Okay, good morning. I'm Esmond Henderson again, and I just want to say thank you for having us again. And as we said before, this is our report, and we're making the report today, the farm report. Just want to say, thank you to our farmers who are participating in the program so far. I think we have made some real stride. As I said last week, the packing house had around 3,000 pounds of bell peppers last week, and we have seen some movement so far since we were here. So we want to say thank you to our main supermarkets, the Good Food People, Value Mart, and Best Buy. Those are the three major supermarkets. And I know the
when
China.
you said the Good Food People, you mean Rams?
Rams.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
right. And it brings me no greater pleasure to say that the supermarkets are really coming on and partnering with us. So
that's awesome.
We're really happy.
That's
we're really
great.
happy for that.
Yes.
So we say thank you for that. We say thank you to the farmers who are participating as well, because it is fairly kind of new for us as well. The project started last September, and this should be the final month, February, due to certain constraints. The main one being water. And we were able to survive the September months and the December coming into January without rain. We don't think that is going to be possible going forward, because the cool nights are disappearing. And so once you continue to have hot days and hot nights, it's not going to be conducive for production unless you have water, of course. And most of our farmers still don't have water. So some are going to discontinue here in February. Those of us who might have access to some water, we are going to continue. We're going to have to regroup and look at the numbers again. And those who are not able to participate, we're going to have to give those numbers to persons who might be able to carry a little more load. So that's kind of where we are in the program. But then again, I said thank you to them because it's new. And, you know, we are children of slaves and we're not supposed to unite on anything at all.
And enslaved people.
Right. So whenever we begin to come together, you know, it just breathes a good feeling because what we're doing could not have been accomplished or achieved by any one of us separate. And so the fact that since September we are able to supply without stop the packing house with bell peppers up to thousands of pounds tells us that once we continue down the path of unifying and coming together and putting our heads together, that we could make things happen. And it's strange because this is what was being advocated for all along, for farmers to come together. And finally, it feels like we are, you know, but the support from the top sometimes.
But when you say we, who are you speaking about?
The consortium members, that is.
Oh, the consortium.
The consortium farmers. So.
And again, when you say consortium farmers, there is in the media some circulation with giving the perception that the consortium of farmers is a small group of farmers.
Well, that's kind of the depravity that is happening too, because then if it is one or two, it is worth mentioning, it is worth celebrating. So whether it's small or large, if you choose to look at it being small and so it is insignificant, then that tells you where you are. So you're saying only large things could be celebrated or only large things could be taken seriously. But the consortium have like 120 members, right? And I'm saying the planting program is being manned by no less than around 30 of us. Right? Wow. Because those are who decided to partake in the vegetables. But we have, just last night we had a meeting and we decided that we're going to expand upon the things that we want to plant and go into more things like okras, sweet potatoes, and that would be able to accommodate the entire body who might not want to do bell peppers or tomatoes or cabbage or carrots or onion and those kind of stuff. So shortly, but again, we are constrained by the fact that we are moving right into the dry period now, and we don't have the infrastructural support, namely water, to support production going forward. So that is going to be something that we're going to be looking for out going forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right. You were saying something?
Well, I could leave my question till the end if you have something else you add in.
No, I mean, I can't add none to what Esman just said. Yeah. But Esman, I mean, as they were saying that the consortium is a small group of farmers, but you got to look at the experience that the members in the farm, the group have. You have Esman sitting next to me with almost 30 years experience. It might not look so, right?
Why?
Huh?
Why? My bears are grey.
Yeah, but you were well fed, man. You got a good foundation, so you look good for your age. You see? So these are the things that they're saying that because of the stance that the consortium chose to take.
But I have realized too, over the past, since the consortium has spoken, I have realized a lot of videos being circulated with the minister and farmers talking about vision, talking about a number of things. And, you know, you have persons in the video smiling, and you have farmers, supposedly I think that they're farmers, in the video as well. So what do you say?
If the consortium is bringing out the best in them, kudos to the consortium. Let's keep on doing what we're doing. and you bring out the best. I mean, we've been called names, right? You go on social media, they call us all kind of names and so. And I will tell them, continue. Thank you. Because by you doing that, you have more people listening to this program today. So thank you. Keep going on. Go that way. I like that. And if people calling me who think and say, encouraging us to continue what we are doing. Right. Last week when we went downstairs, somebody down there waiting on us, telling us, "Pa, I appreciate what you all are doing." So I let them continue do what they are doing.
Right.
So, okay.
And so we would still want to adhere to those who are critical. But one of the things, though, that I want to say quickly to that point, to what you just said, and I think the ministry has to be careful, because the ministry was given a mandate to lead. And it seems slowly but surely that mandate is being lost. And why I say the mandate is being lost, because when you're not addressing critical matters that has to do with the sector, but start propagandizing your way through, it says that you have given up on leading. Unless you're willing to address what is happening to the sector, you can't continue to lead. And the mandate is for leadership, not propagandizing. And so we have to be careful, and the ministry has to be careful to address, because once that mandate is lost, is almost impossible to regain. And I want you to remember something as well, that there's a $3.2 million that is being given out right now. 3.2 million.
Who's giving that out?
The ministry is giving this out in supplies and services. And so that is enough to excite anybody, right? But if you look at the basis of where we are, if that don't change, as we said before, in my lifetime, I've seen a $10 million stimulus, I've seen a $14 million stimulus, and I just want to address something quickly, because
when you say you've seen a $10 million stimulus and a $14 million stimulus, are you saying specifically geared and centered towards agriculture?
Right. So in 2010 to 2015, the then Labour administration embarked on a $14 million stimulus to aid agriculture. 2015 onwards to 2021 too, the then
in COVID
Harris administration during the COVID time embarked on a $10 million stimulus. So that's $24 million in about 10-year space. And I was listening to DuPont on the radio, and I'm sure that he don't mind my mentioning of his name. And he was saying that the farmers in this country, they have gotten so much, yet they're not satisfied. And I couldn't agree with him more based on what he heard in the media. Because if $10 million is given out from 2020 to 2015, and another 10 from 15 to 21, here we are with the same problems that we had 2008. And so what I want him to understand, that those announced funds to the farming community, once we walk into a meeting with the then permanent secretary and ask him for records as to how the monies were spent, he said he don't know. He said he didn't even have records of how the monies were spent. And I am looking at him, he is looking at me, and the entire farming community is looking at each other, and we're saying, where did $10 million go in a year and a half space? To that point, when we met with the former permanent secretary, he was saying that an additional 3 million was added to the 10, and that was like a year and a half. So where is that money? But it is said that is allocated for the farming community, and that is why we decided as an organization, and I'm coming back to why we decided as an organization that we wanted to have a seat at the table, because this would ensure that, one, we understand how the funds are being disbursed, and to who, and how much. And this has been the bone of contention. Not the giveaways that you see on the internet, not the smiles. This is what we took to the ministry. We said we wanted to be a voice. We wanted a sort of advisory board to represent the farming community, so that when you're making decisions, we are right there making those decisions with you. And that has been the bone of contention. Not that we're against the minister's plan and what the minister is currently doing. Those were never part of our discussion. The laying out of the ground mat and the 25 by 25, those are things never came up in our meetings. Our meetings was about changing the system and implementing policies that would be able to aid farmers well beyond this minister and his term.
And we left them.
For example, each farmer has been granted an ID card, and in the system you are duty free. You're eligible for duty free once you're a bona fide farmer. We have said to the ministry, the card is of no effect. So you have farmers going to TDC, for example, to buy multi-use stuff like barrows, shovels, garden hose, and they're paying VAT and they're paying taxes on those same items that should have been duty-free. Why? Because it takes them too long to apply for concession on a hose. It takes you weeks.
Well, how I understand it, because in the arts, duty is normally calculated different to VAT. Even if you get duty free, you're still charged VAT.
Well, we're not. We don't pay VAT. We're eligible for VAT on all our purchases. So now, when we go to TDC, we're saying to the ministry,
eligible for VAT exemption.
Right, duties and VAT. So whenever we go to the hardware store, we're saying, if you're a farmer and you have a farmer's ID, that ID should have the strength in the organization to allow you to not pay VAT on the same items that the Constitution said that you shouldn't pay VAT on. But because, again, if I want a garden hose today, if my garden hose damaged today and I want a garden hose today, I went to the hardware. The time it takes me to get accepted from the ministry for concession is a month. Do I really want to wait for a month to not pay $150?
So you're saying that even though there might be exemptions, policies in place, the turnaround time is so long that farmers would not go through that method if they need something now.
That is correct.
These are the things that when we sit down in meetings, we discuss. So do you see and hear all kind of things in the media? And you see them on Facebook. They're not really saying the true picture, showing the true picture of what we discuss. We decide if anything coming, let's say for instance, as man continue saying what he's saying, drip, you bring in drip tape. With your card, you go up to the port, and you just pay. Maybe if you pay a port fee, you take up a drip and you go with your drip. Right? These are things that we want us to change. We speak about diesel duties and diesel for people with their own tractors, and if you look at it, most farmers with their own tractor, right, is the farmer that are more consistent in production.
Right?
It shows. So if that farmer machine down, what we're saying, when he bring in, because you don't get duty free and parts, we go to them and we say, let's look at this. So if a farmer come want a part, but if you do the same ID card, you don't got to go to the red tape, go to the department. The department then got to send it down to the ministry. the ministry still got to send it up to finance before you get an answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of red tape.
And it takes so long.
Yeah, are we talking about chemicals? You have chemicals which you allow in. It's simple saying, well, you got a list of chemicals. If I want to bring in chemical, well, I got to go through all this red tape. Simplify it. These are what you can bring in. So I don't have to go through no red tape, go through chemical board and all kind of different things. This is the conversation we're having, you know.
And the conversation is being had already because for sure there are 2 biomedical farms here and both of them don't have to apply for duty-free concession every time goods or services come in here for them. So the precedent has been established. So why is it that when it comes to corporation, and the same thing is for Port Zante. Port Zante has an entire duty-free zone that nobody has to apply there to purchase anything with concession.
So you believe the hotel didn't supply every time?
If I believe
the hotels, they apply every time they want to.
No, of course not. Of course not. Because remember we said earlier that they were granted immunity from duties.
Exactly.
Right? And every time we have these conversations, everybody wants to know who is going to pay for it. Who is going to pay for it? And nobody asks who is going to pay for the duty-free zone at Port Zante. That is a given. That is advertised for business to come here. And what we say in the end, the advertising and the showing off of the country is going to pay dividend in the end. But for us, we have to say how it's going to be paid for. Anytime the citizens want to access any benefit from the country of their birth, then they have to spell out how they are going to pay for it. And so we just want the audience to understand that when we sit with the minister, because we didn't get a chance last week, when we sit with the minister, it has nothing to do with what they want to do in terms of rolling out any program catering to farmers. And while we're on that note, I'll say that we are farmers and farmers at heart. And if the government is rolling out $3.2 million in giveaways, be certain, make no mistake that the consortium is involved in receiving or taking anything that the government has to offer. Let that be known that we are participating in the government program.
National program.
Right? It's a national program. And we can't just be willing to work in areas where there is full agreement, because that is going to come back against us. If you only could work in environment where you're agreed with, what about when you're disagreed with and the person decide to take a stand and not work with you? And so we have to compromise. And the ministry is rolling out something. We are full part of what the ministry is doing. And so don't allow the ministry or the media to baffle you by saying, oh, you see, they're part of it, and they're saying, look, listen, we are telling you, we are a part of the government rollout. We are participants, full participants as well.
And we going to have to make sure it happen, We already start our planting program with little support from the ministry. But yet we are going along with it. And at the end of the day, when they start to put the data together, those numbers will count.
Right.
Those numbers that we produce will count.
And they will be boosted on.
Yes,
Right.
I'm telling you, as we speak, I am preparing an area in my farm, at my farm, for the 25 by 25 agenda. I already start spending money preparing that area, putting in the necessary infrastructure to accommodate what the government is doing. So all farmers out there, I'm appealing to you to do your part in the national program. It's a national program. Let us do. Let us not make our country look bad.
Right.
I'm listening, and if I may,
right.
I identified 3 major issues in your presentation, which is water supply, duty-free, getting duty-free concessions in a timely manner, and the fact that they ask you, the difficulty of getting duty-free on the same level that the tourism industry gets it and stuff. So, as far as water supply, that is an issue that affects, obviously, agriculture, but everybody. Right? Now, it's not that, and let me say this because some people feel like if you don't talk about politics, you're not having a discussion. My thing is, if we cannot get these ministers to operate and to function, where does that leave us as a people? So my question is, we having some water issues, right? And I'm wondering, are we as nationals, or even in agriculture, are we looking at ways outside of the government, ways that we can implement water conservation, new methods of planting, different things that can mitigate the changes, the climate changes that are happening, and help us to grow plants that are more drought resistant, that sort of stuff.
Right.
And I said this because, and I'm going to, give me a minute. This is Black History Month, and I feel like I haven't really made a lot of mention of that. But listening to you and the passion you have, it reminds me of a guy by the name of George Washington Carter. And he said that he invented peanut butter. But he didn't really invent peanut butter, but he invented over 300 inventions using peanuts, including a fuel and all of that. He championed crop rotation in the States, showing them that planting tobacco and so forth was depleting the soil, while planting peanuts and other crops, sweet potatoes and so, would replenish the soil. And in 1921, being a black man who was castrated also as a way to gain his education, he was able to make a presentation on behalf of the United Peanut Association to the Congressional Committee in the States. That's at a time when blacks had no say. But what he did, he could not have the support of the leaders, but he sat, and he was a botanist, he was in agriculture big, and he decided to come up with ways to solve problems. And I'm by no means at all saying that these ministers should not do what they're doing. So if you're out there and you think that's what I'm saying, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, over the years, I've heard the argument, and we've seen how a lot of ministers behave, but yet we still have to solve these problems for ourselves. So I would suggest that we have a national call, not just the ministers, for people who are engineers. We as a people need to start looking at ways that we can solve our water issue. As far as the consortium and duty-free concessions, as a small business person, they tell us, think of everything you will ever possibly need in the life of your business, and then put a list together and send it to finance to get, but which is impossible. So my thing is, instead of waiting until the hose breaks or whatever, I don't know if the consortium or another organization can have these supplies where they, until you, I guess, communicate with you guys, know what you probably need, and have these things in stock, like an Apex or something similar to that, so that they deal with the duty-free and whatever, and some sort of a middleman, and then you can now just go there and buy it or collect it in a timely manner. And as far as agriculture, not having the same duty-free status because of the tourism industry. Tourism is like big crowds and jobs created. It's very obvious. But in agriculture, in our culture, we kind of cut off. So again, they will ask you, what jobs does agriculture create outside of you, the farmer? And the average Kititian, and I'll say this for the consortium, an educational campaign needs to be done by you guys outside of the government to educate Kititians on what agriculture provides, the jobs that come off from it. Every single industry comes from agriculture first in some way or form. But our people need to be educated. And again, agro-processing, different lines of economic activity comes from agriculture. But right now, all we're seeing is that the person who plant the food is saying, I want this, this, and that. And when people hear all this money went there, they're thinking, well, it's wasting, they don't know what they're doing. But it's not that. It's that there are a lot of other mini issues that need to be addressed and so forth.
Yeah, I agree.
You sound like a consortium member to me.
Yeah, I think you should recruit her.
Right,
You know?
I'm thinking that the president is away and some private business, and I think when he return, because some of the especially the procurement area where we make a list, those are things that came up in our meeting.
Yes.
Can we make a list of things? And we went on to say, even those things that has dual purpose or multi-purpose use, we could exempt them and even apply for them, like building materials and things like that. But basic items, everyday farm items, hand shovel, seeds,
as a group,
drip, plastic, we're saying, give us those things as an organization. Give us the ability to procure those things without having to go through the system because they're everyday farm stuff, right?
But what you can do is procure them by bulk as the consortium, and then the bulk as a group is dealt with government instead of individually.
Right.
I think that would be better.
No, and that's a solid point.
But when the system change, all that will be it wouldn't be relevant. If you change the system, all that you don't say you got to get a middleman. Because the system could change easily, you know, because as Esma said, they had models already there. We were told that we could get duty free and diesel, like because the fishers get duty free and the diesel. 1 year later, we're still waiting. So as long as the system changed.
But what if the system doesn't change for another year?
Well, we could do that. But that's why we keep doing what we are doing to get the system changed, because we cannot continue year in, year out, and the same thing and expect a different result. We got to do things different.
I agree.
So that's why we keep coming here and we keep repeating ourselves.
But do you think that it's getting the effect that you want, or it's...
Yes, it is, because from the time they start to call your names and so, that means it gets into their ears and people are talking to them.
So have they reached out, or have you received any...
We don't have meetings now and
concrete
again. Concrete
changes?
No, we have not had meetings for a while. But I want to say that change, what we're looking at here is changing a system, and we can't assume that we're going to wake up tomorrow
and it change,
and it's going to be changed.
Of course.
And so what we're doing, and in some cases, change are had violently. And that's the extreme that persons go to for change sometimes. Right now in Poland, the farmers begin to call for Vladimir Putin to begin to bring change in Ukraine. And that's a massive shift from what it was. They're saying, they're asking who they deemed the enemy before to begin to bring change in structure in Ukraine so that farmers could flourish in Poland.
They're asking Putin to pull out of Ukraine.
Well, okay.
Forget about that.
We have about a minute to go.
Wrap up now. So that's what they're asking Putin to do, pull out of Ukraine. What we say,
so I'm not advocating for him to stay either. I'm just saying, once we start advocating for change, we have to keep at it, and we have to be willing to sacrifice. And us leaving our farms to be here on a Wednesday morning, we are advocating for change in the system. If it's not advocated for, then it simply means things continue as usual.
I mean, you see in Europe what happened with the farmers in Europe, you see?
And I do say, we appreciate you coming Wednesday after Wednesday to advocate and to speak, and we do hope that you continue to do so, because I believe in doing so you could only improve the product.
I believe with all my heart that change is going to come to the system.
And I would suggest too that alongside advocating, that you really take steps to change it on your own as well. Advocating can take years.
Yes, but we actually are meeting with international organizations.
Lovely, I like that.
So, and they're actually buying into what we are doing. We have the support of
we just received a grant from Jeff to start the roadmap for the organization to begin for somebody to begin to write a project for us.
Lovely.
The president has been in contact with the JSA, and they're begin to show us what the model really look like for sustainable agriculture. And so again, we are here to
yes,
work.
and we want to hear more of that as well.
We are here to work, right?
That's what we do.
And so one of these days, we probably need to sit down in a forum that gives us the time to explain what the consortium is really all about, and and not.
I also encouraging the news arm of WinFM to help us along the way.
No problem. And I get what Chev is saying, you know, but at the same time, government assistance could go a long way.
And the regulation, if these things weren't so heavily regulated, farmers would have their own well already. I guarantee you that. We wouldn't have to be coming here begging for this and begging for that, because we're interested in helping ourselves to develop as well. But and when everything is regulated and you have to go to the government for everything, then how do you progress?
Do it and then challenge them to stop you. When you beg, and then study, and then you do it. But you see, you have to show people all this stuff. You tell me the positive as well. Because in this world, the negative is so loud. So we have to hear the positive as well. So we can see how you're working as well.
We're advocating, and we hope that we would achieve by just advocating. We don't want to go beyond advocating.
Respect you guys, and you guys are truly passionate. Thank you.
Thank you again to WinFM.
No. Thank you. We have our next segment.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Buster, hold it up. Need the thirst quencher in my cup. If you have one, hold it up and say, Buster, put the colors in my life. Refreshing and nice, and I drink that what we like. Buster, you're full of vibes. Living full color, and I'm black and white. We do what we like. We live to enjoy life. Buster, hold it up. Different flavor. Load it up. If you have one, hold it up and say, Buster, put the colors in my life.
Are you looking for a new dining experience to whet your appetite? Explore the flavors of the world at Pangea Multi-Cuisine Kitchen and Lounge. Our menu features Latin, Chinese, Mexican, and Indian cuisine with a local twist. The cozy and elegant ambiance provides the perfect backdrop for an unforgettable dining experience. Whether you're in the mood for a romantic night out, a family dinner, or a business lunch, our restaurant is the perfect place to discover new tastes and enjoy a delicious meal. Book your table at Pangea Multi-Cuisine Kitchen and Lounge today by calling us at 465-9100 or visit our website at ktcsvdm.com and our Facebook page at Pangea by KTCS Limited. We are located in the heart of Port Sante Bastille St. Kitts. Come and explore the flavors of the world.
It's 9:38, and it's time for having a little chat with some of the you guys from Bryan College, right?
Yeah, they're former students of the. So we have here Kevron Pedro, and we also have Takaila Hat Johnson. So both of them are. They've graduated from the Virtuous High School, the graduating class of 2023, and some outstanding students in our midst. They are now at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryan College, and so we want to hear from them, what they're doing. Let me say that Kevron, I give an award to the Virtuous High School as relates to, a number of persons give awards, and I remember when I first thought about giving one, I said, let me give one that not only goes to a student who does well, but also show a student that shows leadership potential, leadership qualities. And so this year, Kevron, he got that award. To Kyla, I remember I give it at the Tyrrell Williams Primary School. I remember she got that award when she was in primary school at the Tyrrell Williams. And so both of them are here, and I just want to give them a platform. I know that both of them have their own platforms, but I give them additional platform to tell us more about themselves, what they have done, and what their interests are. So I'm going to let Kevron go first. So Kevron, tell us about you, where you're from, and how has your experience been at Virtuous High School?
I'm from Virtuous I'm from Virtuous Village. My experience at the school was very good. Yeah.
What are some of the things that you liked there at the Virtuous High School?
A lot of things, yeah.
Name one. Go ahead.
The extra classes, I used to like them.
Okay, then what was your favorite subject there?
I never really saw the favorite subjects.
Mm-hmm.
I just used to do the subject then.
Okay then. Takaila, you tell us where you're from and what has your experience been at the Virtuous High School?
Hi, I'm from Old Road. My experience at the Virtuous High School was amazing. I got to experience 2 principals. Mr. Thomas became principal when I was in 3rd form, and he's an amazing principal. I'm sure that you've heard other school students be like, Mr. Thomas, I want you to be principal, but I mean, yes, he's very fun, but he's also strict on academics. So even though we have fun at the Virtuous High School, he also wants us to excel in our academics. For my favorite subject, it was math until I started doing applied maths at CFBC. At this moment, it probably would be communication studies, which is English. So, yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Awesome. So, Kevron, you are at the CFBC college now. What are you pursuing?
Office administration and management studies.
Okay. What would have inspired you to really go for that?
I want to be a human resource manager. So I follow my path.
Okay. What about you, Takaila? You're at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College now. What area are you in?
I am in the accounting area at ASGS. What inspired me, I actually did accounting, the subject in 5th form. Mr. Bird thought I could do it, and he encouraged me to. And I got a 2 in the subject. What inspired me to continue this path is that I want to be a business lady, specifically a real estate agent, and then I have to deal with like finances and so forth. So I really want to like nail this part and then move on to the next.
Okay. So how has your experience at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College been? Both of you. Anyone could go at any time. Your experience at CFBC.
Okay, so for me, I'm not as social as I was in high school because, you know, it's different schools and everybody come with their different groups and so forth. So I'm not very social, but when people do talk to me, I do talk a lot. And some of my former, like Kevin and Tyler and Kadreen, sometimes we get together at like the steps and we just all talk there. Sometimes the guys will be like, let's hire noise. I need to go to class and all kind of thing. But so far it's been alright. It's been okay. So
How about you, Kevin?
Yeah, it's been good. I don't really get to see my former classmates as much unless I decide to go up on the main campus. But apart from that, everything going good so far now.
Okay, thank you. In terms of the structure, you moved from high school and now you're in 6th form. There is a lot more free time in the sense, and when I say free time, the scheduling, you have more space where you don't have classes. In high school, you had classes back to back. How has that transition been? Has it been good for you? Do you like the space that you're given in the timetable, or do you prefer the format in high school?
Well, it depends, because if you have night classes, like from 5 to 7, right, you ain't gonna really like them. And it was in secondary school, you were done school like 3 o'clock. Right? Right, but you have more free time, because you ain't gonna get up 8 o'clock every morning to go school. Sometimes go school at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. All depends on your timing, how you pick your schedule. Yeah.
What about you, Takayla?
For me, 3 out of the 5 days I have school. Well, 4, because on Tuesdays I have maths, but it's only for an hour, and the teacher was like, he doesn't want to have maths so early in the week and just for an hour. So fortunately, I don't have to go to school on Tuesdays. But for the other 3 days, which is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I have to wake up for 8 o'clock, and my school finishes 1 o'clock on Monday, 3 o'clock on Wednesdays, and 2 o'clock on Fridays. So my classes are back to back to back to back. So it's not really a difference in terms of the classes, but no, you could just leave campus anytime you want, excuse yourself from classes and so forth. But they really do say that it's different in college, because they let us know from the jump, we're not treating you like your children, and these SBAs, you have to get them done by yourself. We have to meet deadlines. Assignments have to be done. Like, they're really just saying you're no in college, so we're going to treat you like young adults. And it's kind of hard, but eventually I'll get used to it.
Do you feel like going to CFB then is helping you to transition out of your adolescence into adulthood? It's like a practice.
Yes, I do believe so, because I feel like maybe in high school I was more so procrastinating, because you had teachers do this, do that. You still have, and they would bring back your assignments and say, you could do better on this. Let me give it to you so you could do better. But no, in CFBC, you really have to put time into your work and put your best foot forward at the first time, because it's not a guarantee that the teacher would allow a second chance. Some of them are lenient, but not all.
So you're learning accountability.
Yes.
And self-management.
Yes.
Kevin, how was your experience in terms of the classes now, in terms of the scheduling?
They're different. Some teachers go hard on you. So, like, if you have no assignment, you get 0. They won't give you a second chance to do it. Because it's your work. So it's your work, so you have to do your work. So,
yes.
It's teaching you to be an adult.
Yes.
So let me ask you about your hobbies now. Okay. So what are some of the things that you guys are interested in?
I'm interested in music.
Okay.
You look so,
What's your favorite genre, or what genre interests you most?
Dancehall music.
Dancehall. Really? Okay.
I have some dancehall music coming out this year, so nice. I'm happy.
So in terms of dancehall music then, who is your favorite artist?
Masika.
Who's your favorite producer?
Def Drums music. Yes.
Okay.
I'll take that.
Takayla, what about you? Your hobbies?
He literally posts Massacre every day on his status. For me, it was modeling, but since I was busy with school and pageantry and so forth, I haven't been able to really get back into that as yet.
Type of modeling?
Runway modeling, yes. I was modeling with Model Maker Agency.
Okay. Yeah. Have you ever done any print?
I don't.
Runway is fun.
Yeah.
Commercial is where you get paid. So try to get the jobs from Floor and, Caribel and them can Digicel, even commercials on TV.
Okay.
And Takayla is the reigning Miss Caribbean talented teen. Yes. So how has that been? I mean, in terms of balancing school, because when you participated in the competition, you were still a student just started CFBC, and how has that been? How was that experience?
Okay, so since I won Miss Talented Teen here at St. Kitts, I already set my mind and I already claimed that I'm going to be entering this show. So once I got back from summer vacation this last year, Mr. Duranai, my chaperone, he started practicing early since September. So around December time, it would be easier for me to really just revise, just go over without mistakes and so forth, because we had a week in the hotel, and that week was full of events. We really didn't get time for practice unless it was scheduled for practice time. So it was kind of easy to really transition from school and talented teen and so forth, because I was already practicing before. And my schedule, my classes finishes late. The latest my class finishes is 3:00. So anything after that I could work with.
Okay. Do you find which one do you prefer? Because I also did a lot of modeling around your age coming up, and then I did 2 or 3 pageants, and I really didn't like pageantry. What do you notice is the difference between, say, fashion modeling as opposed to pageantry?
I mean, they have their similarities in terms of you have to be fierce, but I think that in pageantry, with the poses and so forth, they're more girly and they're more free and so forth, and it's more poised than I would say in modeling. But I would rather pageantry. I don't know why.
I hated pageantry. I liked the modeling because it was more expressive and free, and I found that pageantry had so many rules, like even the way you place your feet, and it was much more constricting for me.
It is, yes, it is. You have to be careful of how you present yourselves and so forth. But
so let me ask you, so Kevra, so you're interested in music. Do you see yourself, where do you see yourself going? Is it just a hobby, or is it something that you want to explore?
It's just a hobby.
It's just a hobby.
Yeah.
So let me say, you're here at CFBC, and where do you see yourself in the next, let's say, 5 years?
I see myself in the office working.
Whose office?
Any particular office?
Main Street.
Okay, then.
Can I give you some advice?
Yes, no problem.
Okay, so we're in a culture where we often see ourselves in somebody else's office. These office jobs are very limited. And as far as the money you make, you'll never make more than your boss. The hobby that you have on the side has made people millions. So sometimes we have to look at things just a little bit different. I'm not saying not to do the office, but you can easily have your own office from music that you can then be human resource manager. If you get what I mean, like you don't necessarily have to have somebody else's office to operate out of. You can create your own office.
Yes. Sound advice. What were you, Takaila? 5 years from now, where do you see yourself?
5 years from now, I would see myself possibly graduating from university, because it's one of my goals after CFBC. Maybe I would take like a year off or something, but I would be attending university. I'm not sure which one yet, because I have another year at CFBC. So when the time comes, I will decide.
So, and this is a question I think persons would be asking you. You have won the National Talented Teen, then the Caribbean Talented Teen. Are you interested? Are you seeing yourself perhaps as a contestant, possible queen for the National Carnival Queen or Miss St. Kitts Nevis?
I mean, like, everybody asks me this question. At the moment, I don't know, because I'm only 17, and I think you're supposed to be like 19 to 25.
18.
Oh, for real?
You're soon there, baby. You can start practicing.
Well, I still don't know if I want to be a delegate for that pageant as yet. I feel like I still have time to grow because
of course,
talented teen and a national queen are two different persons. It's two different pageants. So yeah, I still have time to grow before I would consider entering that pageant.
Can I give her
Yes.
some advice?
What were you thinking here for?
Sweetheart, again, these pageants, this modeling, if you really want to go to university, unless you can secure yourself a full scholarship that also pays for room and board and food, be very careful of what you sign to. People don't tell young people these things, but you come back from college, you've never made $1 in your life, and you're in debt hundreds of thousands of dollars, okay? So you have to think about how you're going to pay for college. Our parents, they want us to go to college. It's usually their dream, but we have to figure it out for ourselves, because when you come back, that student loan is in your name and you have to bear the brunt of it. And there are tons of Kititians who are depressed, who are very angry because nobody taught us to look at it before. I'm not telling you not to go to college. I'm telling you, read and figure out how you're going to pay for it, whether you're going to be modeling, whether you're going to use pageantry. Some people use pageantry to help them pay for it, but make sure you get a full scholarship. If outside of a full scholarship, please, I am begging you, don't study people when they say, by any means necessary. No. Find a way to pay for it. You're not too young. Even if I tell people, if you start a business now, you make $50 a week selling cupcakes. By the time you're ready to go, you would have had a good chunk of money. So I implore you guys, think about finance. It's not something young people do. Think about it. It can help you to avoid a lot of heartbreak by the time you're 25.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So any last or final words for this segment that you want to share with persons? Anybody you want to shout out? Anything you want to say? This is your opportunity to do that.
Yes, I would like to shout out Mr. Thomas because even though some of class of 2023 didn't believe in ourselves, he did, and the staff at the Virtuous High School did. And we just want to say thank you, because the revision classes that we had every single day, it really paid off, and the results in itself shows. I really appreciate you and love you guys. Thank you.
Nice.
Anything about you want to say, Kevin?
Big up Mr. Thomas and the whole of Virtuous High School.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure to have both of you here, to hear from you and to hear what you're thinking, what you're doing, what you have done. Continue to be shining examples in your community, Virtuous and Old Road, we need persons like you guys to ensure that the community builds and prospers when you guys do well and the community does well. So continue to keep your head on, continue to remain focused, and do what you have to do in order to achieve your goals, okay?
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
No problem.
Are you looking for a new dining experience to whet your appetite? Explore the flavors of the world at Pangea Multi-Cuisine Kitchen and Lounge. Our menu features Latin, Chinese, Mexican, and Indian cuisine with a local twist. The cozy and elegant ambiance provides the perfect backdrop for an unforgettable dining experience. Whether you're in the mood for a romantic night out, a family dinner, or a business lunch, our restaurant is the perfect place to discover new tastes and enjoy a delicious meal. Book your table at Pangea Multi-Cuisine Kitchen and Lounge today by calling us at 465-9100 or visit our website at ktcsvdm.com and our Facebook page at Pangea by KTCS Limited. We are located in the heart of Port Sante, Bastille, St. Kitts. Come and explore the flavors of the world.
Okay, it's almost 10 o'clock. It's time to do a wrap-up. Quick wrap-up, guys. Let's go.
Well, I had a statement for the farmers before they left. I didn't get to read it. It says, the farmer is the only man in our economy who buys everything at retail, sells everything at wholesale, and pays the freight both ways. And then it says, agriculture is our wisest pursuit because it will, in the end, contribute most to real wealth, good morals, and happiness, and letting the consortium know that this listener gives them his full support.
And there you had it, Island Tea. Join us tomorrow, same time, same place. God's willing. Have a pleasant day.
Bye.
Yes.
You ever hear earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee"?